Hi everyone. So today I am bringing a topic around managing our thoughts and what is the negative bias of the brain. So you may have noticed that in your life that when you start having negative thoughts, they tend to feed onto themselves, and they get bigger and bigger, and the more you think about it and you give it some sort of power, the bigger it becomes, which can spiral down and make you feel, quite bad and not really knowing what action to take. And that it is quite uncomfortable and not helpful as well, as we want to live a happier life and as flowing and peaceful as possible. So we know that we have inner critics, like there's lots of little voices in our heads. And the inner critic, as we like to call it in coaching, is quite a strong voice. It speaks to us quite a lot, and often is a situation that are a bit negative. And this is there for a purpose. It's helpful. It's been helping us to survive. But most of the time, it's not really helpful, and it mostly gets in the way. So how do we manage those thoughts better when they arise? So first is catching them as they arise. So, how do you build a practice to notice when they come up? And then when you've noticed them, is how you make room for those unhelpful thoughts to just be, allow them to be. We need to learn to treat them with compassion. Pushing them away or numbing them is quite often what we do. We just decide, like, no, even if I'm upset, I'm just going to pretend I'm not. Or, yeah, I'm upset, so I'm going to reach out for the chocolate because I know it makes me feel better. That is a way of numbing. And those, quite often with time, may not be helpful, and they might get in the way of your longer term goals. So if it's not helpful, what do we do with it? So even though it is uncomfortable to sit with all thoughts, trust that you can bear with it for a little moment. So you can pause and pay attention to them. Notice what's happening with you. Resist feeding it, but just look at it objectively for just what it is. Resist really numbing it or escalating it and make it, so big, especially if it all happens in your head, it can escalate quite a lot. And I do that a lot. So I know it is you want to get rid of it as much and as quickly as you can. So if we allow them to be and we make room for them and look at them in a compassionate and objective way, then that gives us a start of what can we learn from this and accept that, okay, we're having those feelings. The second thing that is a great way to balance things out is probably not something you will do at the same time, but in parallel in your day-to-day, notice what are the positive things and positive experiences that are happening in your life. And nothing is too little. So it could be, oh, I really made myself a lovely breakfast this morning, or I enjoy watching the birds as I was making my cup of tea, or the sunshine as I drove into the office was lovely. It could be really anything, or it could just be the giggle of a child, or, it can be really, really small things, but just paying attention to them, noticing them, acknowledging them can be so powerful to balance out the negative thoughts and equip you better when those arise to kind of bring it to an equilibrium. If you already have a journaling practice, that's a really good way when you journal to note down all the positives that happens. So you build evidence, more and more evidence about that your life is made of a lot of great things. And obviously life is not all rosy. So when the negative thoughts arise, they may not escalate as much, or your inner critic might not be as vocal, because you can say, oh, hang on a minute, actually, not everything is so bad in life. I had this and this that was really good. So the little recap about how we manage this, these thoughts and the negative bias of the brain, is one, to catch the first thought as it arises before it becomes huge or before you start numbing it, and then balance your mind with all the positive actions that you are taking and all the positive experiences that are occurring in your life. I hope that's helpful. And as always, if you'd like to connect, I would love to have a conversation, or leave some comments, anything you might like. And thank you for watching.